Happy Friday morning, everybody. Welcome. Woo. That was a little bit of containing, Neil. I was like, oh my God, how much hype do I get for this morning? Holy cow. Good morning, afternoon, evening, depending where on the time zone you're from. And boy, it's awesome. Like I'm looking over here on LinkedIn. Lots of new people on LinkedIn talking about being new to the content. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Glad you guys found the content. My name is Neil Bridges, and thank you for joining me this morning, Friday morning, end of the week with Tea with a Hacker. Loving it. I got me some nice masala chai. That's my, for those who are new, that's my kind of like go-to tea first thing in the morning. Now that let's take a moment, let's pour out a little bit of drink. Our friends at Root Beverages have officially announced the closure of their doors on Instagram. We'll take a moment of silence. That was my go-to hype drink, and now I'm back to drinking tea. Hello from Georgia. Got some people. I saw somebody. What it says? Hello from Virginia. All this stuff. Like tons of people all the way around. Thank you for joining me this Friday morning. I am always super hyped and super excited to get my Friday morning started with you. My weeks ended with you, and my weekends beginning with you. This is the most exciting time of the week for me. I know it's been a while since I've been on camera. We'll talk about that here a little bit, I'm sure. Just a couple of quick rules as we run down. This is our AMA stream. We are multi-streaming across YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. We have Twitter and YouTube comments routing through our software, so we can post those awesome comments up like you see right down here on the bottom of the screen. Unfortunately, LinkedIn, I will have to turn my attention this way to catch the LinkedIn comments. It's not a disrespect to the camera. It's just trying to make sure I'm giving my LinkedIn audience some attention. As this is an AMA stream, I highly encourage questions, comments, anything like that out of the ordinary. When I say questions, comments, it's literally anything, right? We talk about anything from my fitness routine, my workout routine, my diet routine, my hairstyles, right? What beard coloring do I use to keep this lovely facial apparatus intact? To cybersecurity, what search should I take? How should I pursue my career? What's the worst APT that exists out there? You name it, one end to the other. We talk about it. I want to give a huge thanks, first and foremost. I see the memberships are running in right now. Bryant Peak for the first one to gift out memberships. Yes, YouTube has finally caught up with Twitch and allowed you all, the community, to give back to other members of the community who may be on the fence on memberships and gift out memberships. And why do I bring this up? Last week, we had an amazing time in Discord. We had an amazing exclusive chat with myself and about 25 other members of the community in Discord where we talked about all things cybersecurity. We gave away a ton of stuff. We gave away some NFTs. We gave away all the things. We're going to give away some more things this morning as well. And so if you've been on the fence, gifted memberships are a way to potentially kind of get one of those and try that out. I highly encourage you. There's a lot of people say don't sleep on member chat. I'd have to agree, but obviously I'm a little bit biased. But definitely there's a lot of extracurricular cyber activity that does go on in member chat. With that being said, we do have moderators in chat. They are denoted by the nice little wrench next to their name, like our good friend Mr. DJ BSEC and several of the other moderators. We do have moderators in chat across all of the channels. Listen, super important about moderators. We do not tolerate any sexist, racist, misogynistic, elitist, or otherwise toxic behavior on this stream. Period. Right? There's no room for it. There's more than enough of it in cybersecurity, I regret to say, and we don't tolerate it here on this stream. This is a great place for everybody to come, and we encourage open, honest collaboration and discussion about all things cybersecurity topics. There are no stupid questions. There are no, there's no toxicity here. I do want to thank my moderators. My moderators work for free. They are volunteers. They're here to support the community and support you and support it because they believe in the mission here. So do give my moderators a massive amount of respect. They have my full unadulterated support, and I do trust their decision implicitly. This is a fantastic opportunity to remind you, hit that exclamation point Discord in chat if you're on YouTube. I'll have one of my moderators post it to LinkedIn. You do want to be in our Discord. We are prepping. I want to give a huge shout out to CyberBeardSec. He's been writing a Discord bot so that we can do an exclusive Discord giveaway when we hit those 5,000 members. We're coming really, really close to hitting 5,000 members on Discord, and we're going to do something pretty big for that when that happens. So you do want to make sure that you are over in Discord. More hellos coming in. Hello from North Carolina. Hello from Tennessee. Hello from Italy. Hello from Toronto, New Hampshire. Loving the global audience that we have here. I have some things that I want to talk about this morning. There are some things there's some things that hit the news that I want to talk about really quick before I get into the questions. I do want to remind you the moderators are grabbing questions, so you can drop your questions in as you get them. LinkedIn questions, we'll try to get to those as, a little bit, they'll be a little bit sporadic just because of the way that our software works with LinkedIn. Christian Martin says, is it me? Or is it difficult to just play any video on LinkedIn? I can't see anything but a blank screen. Oh, I can't help you with that one. Sorry. I thought that was a question I might be able to help with. Neil, good morning. My favorite topic is cybersecurity, and I'm new to your content. Pretty excited for this. Listen, if you're new to my content, welcome. I'm so grateful that you guys are here, that everybody is here. And if you're new to my content, make sure you're in Discord. For everybody who's not here, we have an exponential number of people that are in Discord that are excited to help you on a daily basis, no matter where you're at in your journey, from beginner to experience, right? Questions are incredibly welcomed. We love questions in chat, on stream, in Discord. We're all about helping with the questions. Cyber Lola, thank you so much for the gifted membership. You are awesome as well. Real quick, just there's two things I want to talk about this morning, and the first is a research article, and I'm gonna post this on Twitter really quick. So if you need to, hit that exclamation point socials and hop on over to Twitter. It's been going around the InfoSec Twitterverse, over the last 24 hours, and I wanted to save it for this morning stream to talk about it. It's going up on Twitter right now. Maybe if I can figure out how to paste. There we go. Paste in Twitter. There we go. I just tweeted it out just now. Feel free to, if you see that on Twitter, feel free to post any comments you have, and we'll get those up on stream if you've got specific comments to that one. But it basically talks about how there's new research out, and this is where it gets kind of iffy, right? New research says that they have created a mechanism that does real-time malware process detection and automatic process killing. Literally, they're saying it's the next evolution of AV and EDR, and that they've been able to in obviously research conditions with a 14% false positive rate, which if you spent any time in a SOC, a 14% false positive rate is ridiculously high, right? To be able to detect ransomware and automatically kill the process before 92% of the corruption event happens on the box. And everybody's like, oh, this is it! The AI and the ML bots are here. Cybersecurity is over. You guys know me, I'm very, very bearish on this whole AI ML thing. This is like for all those stem cell researchers out there that is like, oh, in a test tube, under perfect conditions, we've been able to do this awesome thing. Right? Don't make the mistake when you see articles like this, and I know some of the InfoSec Twitter stuff is mostly just people exaggerating, like, oh, I could go retire now. Yeah, that's about how all of us feel about this article. It's like, this is an article for clickbaits and clickbaits alone. And I don't mean to poo-poo so much on AI and ML, and I'm super glad that people are out there doing research and trying to help improve detection mechanisms, but I hate how, like, we come out and it's like, oh, that's it, we've solved ransomware, people. We've got AI and ML to automatically identify processes and, terminate ransomware, and life is good, everything's great. And then that's it. We still get detections. I mean, we still get ransomware. We still lose money. And life is still going on. And everybody's like, well, what about all this AI and ML stuff that's supposed to be helping out? And all it is a clickbait title that's meant to be there that says in a perfect condition where we don't have, and listen, this is probably running on a couple of computers with like 2 or 3 use cases on it. I'm used to environments where you've got 300,000 users using a computer system. And it's like, you've got 300 different ways that users use computer systems. You're going to tell me that you're going to be able to create one AI, one ML application that's going to be able to iterate through 300 different thousand permutations to be able to have because listen, if you think, if anybody's here is familiar with the pains of dealing with antivirus, right? If you've worked in an IT organization, if you've tried to maintain antivirus and you've had to put up with users who are like, but it blocked my files, it didn't allow me access to this, blah, 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 blah. You think a 14% false positive rate, you think shutting down legitimate applications is going to work in an enterprise where you've got 300,000 users on it? Don't think that this is the beginning of the AI robots coming to take over the world, because it is so far from reality. But I have actually seen a lot of people be like, oh my God, this is it. I knew AI was going to come for all of our cybersecurity jobs, and this is it. AI is coming for all of our cybersecurity jobs. And that's just not the case. That was the first one I wanted to talk about. Yeah, thank you, Josh, for posting the link for that one in chat. That's the link if you're not on my Twitter. I just left it as interesting because I didn't feel like putting the whole rant in Twitter. Vadim over on LinkedIn says, hello, what do you think about HackerU Academy in Israel and the CEH certification? Can it help me find a job as a SOC analyst later? I hate CEH. I make no secrets about it whatsoever. I hate CEH. I hate most boot camps, and I hate most academies, right? I don't, there are, do you know why there's so many people in education? Because there's good money in it, right? Now, there's good money in a lot of things, but there's good money in creating education content, right? And so, yes, there are businesses out there who have seen the capitalistic opportunity that comes with creating cybersecurity content. It is a $1 trillion industry, the cybersecurity space is. It is, it's argued that cyber criminals now generate more revenue than the drug trade in some statistics that I've seen from the FBI, right? And so, yes, there are lots of places out there to take cybersecurity content, but one of the things I've always attested is that if you're going to an academy that's basically prepping you to take certifications, all you're paying for, right, is a glorified study session. And if that works for you, if that helps you learn, then that's what's important, is your learning. I am not a fan. I think that those things are a waste of money. I think that those things do not fundamentally help you learn anything about this industry, and there is nothing special about them. And again, I say this, having spent 5 years as a SANS instructor, having built the first functional training unit for the Air Force for cyber warfare operators, having spent a year, leading the content strategy at INE. Nobody is going to teach you some super elite sauce, secret squirrel Metasploit TTP that only they have access to, right? And so if they're like, we're the best hacker academy in the world, we got Metasploit, you should be running in the other direction, right? It's nothing but a glorified, expensive in some cases, study group. And so I hope you're getting my boss is in chat, guys. Act right. I just saw my boss in chat. Hey, boss. How's it going? I think it's the first time my boss has ever showed up to a stream. So buyer beware, right? And take it for what it is, because there is a lot of missed opportunity. There's a lot of grifters out there in the cybersecurity education space that I just want you to be very, 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 very clear on. And I saw somebody say OSCP is decent. I'll give you the decent part of OSCP. It is decent, but it has fallen out of favor because it's no longer the only kid on the block. It hasn't been for a long time. And even with their updated changes, they're still not emulating real pen tester, practices in their learnings or in their exam. And so is it decent? Yes. But it's not great. All right, let's see here. I saw we got a couple come in on YouTube as well. Just real quick on that follow-up, Sonam says, if CEH is trash, what would be best? Listen, and I will never tell you which cert is best. There is no best cert out there. There is no best cert. The best courses, the best content that you can get is the content that helps you learn, right? Because every instructor teaches things differently. Every concept or every course has concepts that it teaches differently. They're not new. They're not different. It's not tradecraft. It's not super secret intellectual property. Do you like the instructor, and do you like the way the content is delivered? I have literally seen courses, the exact same course, the exact same SANS course delivered by two different instructors, and I've been able to walk away and go, wow, that instructor sucked, right? If I were a new student, I wouldn't have learned anything from that instructor, right? And just because DevNull put it up in chat as well, right? The other best, right, is definitely free 99, right? There is so much good free stuff out there. I've oftentimes attested. As a matter of fact, I did a podcast interview yesterday, and I mentioned this on my podcast interview, is that I firmly believe that you could probably get 25 to 30% into your cybersecurity journey with the free stuff that exists out there. 100%. Blue team, red team, risk and governance. I think you can get 25 to 30% of your cybersecurity journey knocked out by doing the free 99 stuff that exists out there. What do you think of TCM security? Not going to comment on it. Haven't taken the content. You'll have to ask some people in peers. I've not taken a look at it. Happy to do a review on it if anybody wants to sponsor that, but I'm not. I have no comments on it. Would you recommend getting eJPT? We could definitely talk about eJPT here in a little bit. I definitely would encourage. So I definitely think the next version of eJPT is going to be awesome when it gets released. I was definitely a huge proponent of the first eJPT as well. Let's talk about this for a second, right? Pay what you can classes are where it's at. Since we're just on the topic of content, courses, how to get your education in the cyberspace and things like that, right? I applaud people who are producing pay what you can classes. I am personally not a fan. I am personally not a fan of it. I think the next obvious question is why? Why not, Neil? I think that everybody's time is important. You, me, the person next to you, everybody in this chat, 110 people on YouTube, 80 people over on LinkedIn. The tens of thousands of people who are going to watch this in the post reels, right? Everybody's time is important, and everybody's time has value. I value every single one of you guys' time here right now. I think that there's a misconception with pay what you can that doesn't necessarily warrant people recognizing the time and effort that goes into producing content and paying a fair share of what goes into content. Right? I think that that's fair. Maybe it's my cynicism towards humanity. Call it what you will. But I think that there are too many people who would more than take advantage of a pay what you can strategy that don't necessarily offset the value that comes from giving away to the people who can't afford it. Right? And so I'm not a fan of that strategy personally. If it works for you, if you like that strategy, then that's good on you. But I guess I'm more cynical towards the human condition, that I think that there's too many people who take advantage of that, and I don't think that it appropriately rewards the value and the time of effort that content creators go into producing courses. Let's see here. How far should I go in Linux for a beginner? Like, what is the limit? The limit is your own learning, honestly. The limit is your own learning. The limit should always be your own learning. Like, there is no bar in cybersecurity that says, like, once you get here on Linux knowledge, you never have to learn anymore, but you have to learn up to this part to be awesome in cybersecurity. You should learn what you need to be successful at your job. Yeah, I want to thank you for this, David. I appreciate this, right? I love this statement, right? David says, at this point in my career, I'm all certed out. I have so many, I focus on content now, furthering myself with cloud information. I wish when I was coming up in cyber, it would have been the other way around. When I was coming up in cyber, there was tons of certs, right? And being in the military, I'm ever grateful for the military for paying for all the certs that I have. I make no qualms that I would not have paid for them myself. The military got them for me. But when I look at where content creation is at now versus when I was coming up through the military and through cyber, if I had to do it over again, I would not be starting with certs. I would be starting with free content, because I think that there's so much more valuable free content now than what you can get in the cert game. And I could probably have saved myself or the military, thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. I don't know how much all the certs were if you added them all up, right? If I had taken free content first and then focused on the certs that actually filled content knowledge gaps for me, instead of just getting certs for the sake of getting certs, right? Thank you for the comment. I do really appreciate that. Let's see here. I think we got some questions over here. Here's one. Here's one from Kunran AI. Is the ECTHPv2 a viable blue team certification to get? Absolutely 100%. Right? One of the few threat hunting certs that are out there. It's not the end-all, be-all of threat hunting certs. I'm not here to say that it is the end-all, be-all of threat hunting certs, but it is definitely a fantastic cert to take. I think before I spent money on that, right? If we go back to like kind of our free 99 thing from Dev, right? If you were to brush up on purple teaming and MITRE techniques from Attack IQ, and if you're in chat, you can hit that exclamation on Attack IQ and get links to their academy. I think that gives you a good forward motion to make the THP a little bit more sticky for you. So definitely agree with you. Definitely concur. It is a viable blue team certification to get, but I would definitely brush up on the purple teaming stuff from Attack IQ. Yeah, I mean, Black Knight, you're not right. This is back to the pay what you can, right? Definitely see both sides where it can be taken advantage of, but then there are also people who pay it forward. Absolutely. You can also pay it forward with not pay what you can, right? We do that here on the stream with Adrian Cantrell stuff, with Hack the Boxes and Try Hack Me stuff that we give out here. We go out and we spend money or we rely on donations to get that stuff, to give that stuff out to the community. And so I don't think pay what you can is necessarily a breaker to people who pay it forward. That's why we work so closely with organizations to try to create opportunities where we can get stuff to pay it forward. So I don't disagree with you that it does help, but I could go to John, or I could go to Jerry, and I could buy 50 vouchers for their course, and I could still turn around and pay it forward and pay them, what I think is a fair price for their time and effort to put in there. So this is kind of dual purpose right here. So somebody in LinkedIn said, Anthony in LinkedIn said, so Neil, what is the right track to take? And then Haxar says this one over here on YouTube, right? Neil, I'm following what you quoted one time on stream. Chase knowledge, not certs. The right path, Anthony, or anybody else who's listening, right, is you should identify what the gaps in your knowledge are. And then you should chase the knowledge that helps you achieve your goals, right? If your goal is to be a pen tester, if your goal is to be a red teamer, right, there's no reason. Like Hackersploit has got hundreds of hours of content on YouTube, and I interviewed him. We brought him in at INE to help with the cyber content at INE, and he's amazing. He's incredibly knowledgeable, and he's got hundreds of hours of free stuff, right, on his YouTube channel. So why wouldn't you go take all of his free red teaming stuff, knowing full well that he takes everything that's in his brain and dumps it into the content that's being produced at INE, right? Like, he's giving knowledge away for free. And so when you take that and you fill those gaps, you fill the gaps that you have, right, with free content, and then you say, cool, I have learned as much about Metasploit as possible. I've learned as much about Nmap as possible. I think I've got most of the beginner stuff down for red teaming. What certs do I need to take, right, now that I've gotten through it? And then you can look across and say, okay, what am I positioned well to do well in? What am I not positioned well to do in? What gaps do I need to do? Things like that, right? And so I think that is a better way to approach how you address your career and your career learnings than just saying, cool, every red teamer has OSCP, I got to go out and get OSCP, because that isn't chasing knowledge. That isn't chasing knowledge. Right? I want you to chase the knowledge to make you better in this industry. Just more on the pay what you can. And this is, Caitlin, this is a fantastic point, right? Sometimes I feel like I'm cheating the people out of money if I can't pay what I think the class is worth. All of you are bringing up great points for normal, ethical, moralistic people who have values and understand the value of other people's time. My message wasn't directed at you. My message was directed at the people who don't think like this, or the content creators who are trying to make a decision about whether they produce a course that is pay what you can versus a solid price. Everybody, I would give everybody in this channel the benefit of the doubt and say everybody here wants to pay content creators what they're worth. They understand the value. That's why you're here, is you understand the value, right? That's why you tune into Jerry's, because you understand the value. My message isn't directed at you. You're doing exactly what pay what you can is described. I'm saying, just like we have people on this stream who have come and intentionally tried to cheat us out of giveaways for a $50 Try Hack Me sub, right? Those are the types of people who I think are more predominant than most people realize in this industry, unfortunately. That's who my message was geared towards. There's another Neil apparently on LinkedIn. Apparently he spells his name wrong, but apparently he thinks he spells his name right. Neil, great name, even if you spell it incorrectly. What do you think is the best route for those trying to get into cyber search, education, networking? Do the free stuff first. That's it. Tune into streams. Get part of a community. Be part of Cybersecurity. Go be part of Jerry's Simply Cyber community. Be a part of Kevin's IT community, right? Be as part of many communities as possible. Tune into as many streams as possible, and soak in as much free knowledge that exists out there. Read the news. Talk to people in the industry. You will find out quickly that there isn't a course, there isn't a boot camp, there isn't a university that gets you as prepared for cybersecurity as networking with the people in your career field. Right? This is why, like, go on YouTube and check out my 1,000 Connection Challenge, right? It talks about the value of networking. And I think Josh said it in chat one time, right? He's 3 for 3 on finding jobs, good jobs, from doing nothing but networking, right? There are so many people who have gotten jobs from nothing but networking, right? Find a group of people that you can gel with and have a good time with. You'll have more success in cybersecurity from that bedrock foundation than any class that I could recommend for you, any cert I could recommend for you, anything. There is nothing more important than a community that you can coalesce with. Small soapbox there. Small soapbox there. The first thing everybody should do should be networking, right? Right? That's why we have such a Discord. We have such a large Discord that's there to help people, is for the networking effect. This is a good one from I'm a butcher this name. I apologize to this. Madhava says, I'm a beginner trying to get into cybersec, but all the jobs ask for experience. How do I crack it? Listen, don't limit yourself to applying for jobs only when you match 100% of the qualifications. When somebody puts up a job description, they are putting up, if I had a magic lamp and I was rubbing a magic lamp and a genie popped out and I could get 3 wishes from a genie, if I could create the perfect cybersecurity person, this is what I'm going to put on a job rec. They don't say, hey, if you've got a pulse and can do some try hack me, come apply for this job. They try to put the job requirements to a bar that they need to filter people out. That's the natural way that human resources operates when putting up job recs. That's the business that they're in, is they don't have time to look for 40 million job posting or resumes to find people for the role. And so they try to make their life easier by setting the bar so insanely high that they limit the amount of people that apply, which is why I tell people, don't be limited just based on a job description to applying for a job or not. I've applied for tons of jobs. I've applied for tons of jobs that I may not have been qualified for. But what you don't understand is that when that job posting comes through, what if you're the only one that applied for that job because you were the only one who took a chance and applied for that job? And now you're the only resume in the pile, or maybe you're one of 3 resumes in a pile. And they're looking around going, well, shoot, we got to pick one of these guys, girls. And now you're in the process, right? Listen, and I say this in my 1,000 Connect Challenge video. 3%, I want everybody to remember that. Write it down. If you got a piece of paper, if you got one of these trusty things, I know this is antique for a lot of you. This is a pen. You push it like this little tip comes out and you can write. Right? Ink comes out and you can actually make something out of it, right? This is a pen. I know this may be foreign to some folks out there. Write it down. 3%. 3% of the people who found jobs were simply found through applying to a job posting. 3%. All the other job postings that have been filled through networking. Right? 3%. And so if you're saying, Neil, I've applied to 100 positions out here, you've got a 3% chance of getting a job at 100 resumes that you've sent out. 3%. And so you need to get your I say this frequently, right? We all want to be hackers here. Right? Everybody's seen hackers. Everybody's seen swordfish. Everybody's seen sneakers. Anybody remember sneakers? It's a good one right there too. Right? Everybody's seen war games. Everybody's like, whoa, I want a hoodie. I want to sit in my basement and I want to hack the government. Right? Everybody's done it. Everybody's done it. Right? But what we refuse to do is we refuse to hack the system that is put in place to gatekeep us from jobs. You guys want to hack firewalls all day long, but you don't want to hack the recruiting process. I'm hurting some of y'all's feelings right now. I know it. Learn how to hack the recruiting process. That's why I have an entire series of this on YouTube, is so you can figure out how to hack the recruiting process. When you realize that it's just another system with flaws that can be exploited, you'll be so much closer to achieving your dream job in this industry. Hey, I see Paul Cummings in LinkedIn. Glad to see you, Paul. Make sure you go check out my boy Paul's nonprofit he's got going on, the whole Human Cyber Initiative. Love it there. See Caves over in LinkedIn. Caves representing on LinkedIn today instead of the YouTubes. Caves Lola wants an NFT of the angry cloud. Just FYI. Longer question from Christian. Kelsey Hightower hosted a Twitter talk yesterday on low-level systems and how Google is preparing a curriculum to train low-level system engineer. My question is, low-level system engineering and hardware engineering an important field in cybersecurity because some of us like to work with hardware. It's a narrow field. It's very much a niche field. When we talk about things like IoT security, product security, not in the digital product security, but in a lot of the IoT and OT spaces. That's where you're going to see a lot of the physical security stuff, manufacturing systems and things like that. That's where you'll see a lot of the hardware type of security stuff. What I would say is, like, when we talk about cybersecurity being this lake that's like 100 miles wide, right, and 100 miles deep, hardware security is literally just one of those little Minecraft blocks sitting on that lake that represents a very, very, very niche, very, very important, and absolutely awesome field to be in. It's definitely one of those where there's few experts in that field. So if you can master that craft, go be awesome. Go do that. But definitely I wouldn't say it's important for all of cybersecurity, Christian. What I would say is that it's important if you're interested in that hardware type of endeavor. So absolutely. Youssef comes back with a follow-on. Is the 3% success rate true for professional jobs such as security and software engineers as well? I would say that 3% is generally a general security trend across all the security disciplines. The statistic that I pulled that from didn't say security engineers versus software engineers versus pen testers versus blue teamers. It was across the entire cybersecurity industry as a whole. So there's that. Apologize for mispronouncing this. Sensitus in LinkedIn says, hurt him with the truth. Cyber church right now. I got you. Let's hop back over here to YouTube. Let's see what YouTube questions we got. My dude Josh comes through with the softball. What's going on with crypto recently? Should we be worried? Listen, everybody knows I'm very, very bullish on crypto. That's been a year flip around for me. If you'd asked me, 13 months ago, I'd been like, no, don't worry about it. A year ago, I probably had my turning point where it hit the right triggers for me, where I was like, ooh, maybe we should start looking into that. And I have to say that over the last year, and I was talking with some pen testers the other day that I'm good friends with, right? And we were talking about, like, what do we want to learn next, right? And we all agree that smart contract hacking and smart contract security is definitely, like, that's definitely kind of like that bleeding edge of security, where it's like, yeah, I want to do more of that because that looks freaking awesome, right? And so in terms of what's going on with crypto, if you're talking about Luna and Terra taking a big, huge, giant nosedive, I won't comment on that one. I'm probably not the best person to comment on that one. But if you're talking about from a cybersecurity perspective, if you're looking for something where you can truly differentiate yourself out and kind of be on that bleeding edge, go look up smart contract security, smart contract hacking, and things like that. That's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be awesome for sure. This is a good one. Right here. Actually, I'm gonna answer that one in a second just because I saw this one. I want an NFT of Neil not caring for NFTs. Here's what I want to say about NFTs, right? I do not believe in monkey JPEGs, right? That's the baseline. I just want to be 100% clear about that. I do not believe in monkey JPEGs. I believe in utility JPEG, utility NFTs. That's why all the NFTs that we have on cybersecurity, you will get something out of it. All of our NFTs have unlockable content. And when I say unlockable content, we have a Joel Fulton NFT where you get a one-on-one mentoring session with Joel Fulton once a quarter. Right? That is an NFT that gets you a mentoring session with the one and only Joel Fulton. We have an NFT with Ben Opal. We have 2 NFTs with Ben Opal where you can either get a mentoring session or you can get an in-person visit with Joel Fulton. I mean, with Ben Opal, right? So I'll do an NFT of Neil not caring about JPEG apes, but I can guarantee you that if you go to the Cybersecurity OpenSea, every single one of the NFTs there that are available have some utility, period, dot, hands down. Right? So, there are more NFTs coming. Do make sure you do follow Caves on LinkedIn as well. You see her if you see her on LinkedIn, Kavia. She's doing a lot of the NFT work for me, a lot of the graphic stuff, and she's also producing her first graphic novel as well. So go support her in that one. All right, now back to this question. Sorry, I just saw it. Got distracted by chat. Victim of my own chat. Do you have any advice for how to distinguish between good, trustworthy recruiters and bad ones who send messages on LinkedIn? Just because a recruiter sends you a message on LinkedIn does not make them bad. Let me say that again, right? Just because a recruiter sends you a message on LinkedIn doesn't make them bad. Unfortunately, there are more than enough recruiters out there who see somebody with 20 years of experience and say, hey, look, I saw this security analyst job and I think you'd be a perfect fit for. That's a bad recruiter. Just in case that wasn't blatantly obvious, if your profile screams hacker, if your profile screams blue teamer, and they send you a message, say, I got this help desk job I think you'd be a perfect fit for, that's an example of a bad recruiter, right? Recruiters, you have to build a relationship with, right? Every recruiter that I've ever worked with, it's because we've built a relationship. That's why we have like Joe Hudson come on stream. We have Carla who's come on stream, right? These are recruiters that I've built relationships with. I got another recruiter, Carly. She's awesome out of Red Sky. Red Sky is a fantastic recruiting company who I've built a great relationship with because they actually do try to care. And so what you do is you find these recruiters that you build these good relationships with, and then those are the recruiters that you always go to when you go job hunting, right? But to kind of start that, right, because it's kind of a chicken and an egg problem, you're going to have to kiss a lot of frogs, as the saying goes, to find the recruiters that are good and the recruiters that aren't good. And you're going to find some recruiters that are going to be like, cool, tell me about yourself, tell me about your skills, send me your resume, I'll let you know if I got anything for you. You probably won't hear from them. You probably won't hear from them, right? So you do have to kind of, you do kind of have to, you got to kiss some frogs to find the good and the bad ones. But I would say don't shy away from that endeavor, right? Don't shy away from that endeavor. It is important for your career to do that. Damon over on LinkedIn says, how to upgrade your skill in order to catch up since there are a lot of new vulnerabilities happening nowadays. Just start consuming content. Like, go to YouTube. Like, you want to catch up, go to YouTube. Abomya says, hey, I love your content, and this is my first time watching you. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. John Bauer, I just got a message that looked legit except for the hello parenthesis or percentage first name percentage. Yeah, that's a pretty obvious. That's a pretty obvious one right there, John. I think I already answered this one about TCM stuff. What's going on with the NFTs? As we come back, we're going to get back into giving away the NFTs. I've got a couple of NFT projects that, like I said, that I'm working with Caves on. More to come on that front as well. Amit, I don't know if I answered this one previously or not, but it says, I want to start a career in cybersecurity or security, but I don't have any certs right now as I'm just taking the starter steps. How should I move forward to start my career? What cert should I get? I'm not going to answer what certs you should get because that's a leading question that I don't think is the right question to ask. How can you get started? Go to YouTube, search hacking, blue teaming, GRC, and start consuming content. It's that easy. Do the free stuff first. Do the free stuff first. Thank you, Joshua. I appreciate you too. Thank you to all of our first-time viewers. I love all our first-time viewers. If you're a first-time viewer, do make sure you get on that Discord as well. Tons of interaction that happens on Discord as well. As well as we are going to do a giveaway when we hit 5,000. We're really close to 5,000. We're really close to 5,000. So we will be doing a massive giveaway when we get to 5,000 people on Discord. Sir, what would how would you advise someone starting out in respect to Hack the Box? Hopefully you're doing all the free stuff in Hack the Box first. I don't know if Hack the Box still has all the free stuff, but hopefully they do. If not, just make a plan, right? Just make a plan, right? And when I say make a plan, right, it's like, I don't mean like, make an overly complicated plan. Start with small goals. I'm going to do 1 room a week, right? Small goal. I'm going to do 1 room a week. You'll be surprised how much learning you do, and you won't get burnt out, right? When you simply take the time to just say, I'm going to do 1 room a week, right? And you do that room. And if you get stuck, right, now you're not pressured to be like, oh my God, my goal is to do 5 rooms this week, and I'm stuck on the first one. I'm never going to hit my goal. Do 1 room a week, right? And that way, when you hit a stump, when you hit something you don't know, you can then research it, right? And you can learn about it. And then when you go and you learn about it, now you become smarter in that area. That's my advice to most people, right? Most people, this industry has a tendency, right? This industry has a tendency to have a lot of hyper-addictive, over-ambitious personalities. You know how I know that? Because I'm one of them, right? Hyper-addictive, over-ambitious personality. John Bauer, thank you so much for the 9-month membership. It's always good to see you, dude. John's the man. Make sure you go check out my boy John over on Twitch, Security Live. He does lots of cool tech stuff, not just cyber, lots of cool tech stuff in general. Anyway, we also have ADHD, just in case you can't tell. My point is, oftentimes you're like, I'm going to go do Hack the Box, and then you jump into Hack the Box, and you're like, I'm just gonna crush this. I'm gonna do all the rooms together, right? And next thing you know, you're overwhelmed, you're behind, you're thinking you're never gonna catch up. And to the question you asked earlier about like, how do you catch up with things, right? Just start with one small thing at a time. Just start with one small thing at a time. That's my best advice. Don't try to overcomplicate stuff, right? Don't try to overcomplicate stuff. Christian over on LinkedIn says, "Hey Neil, thank you for doing this. Do you feel that having a military background in pen testing would make a candidate look more appealing than another who didn't? What's your take on this?" I don't think I would take a candidate for pen testing with a military background over one that didn't, simply because they were in the military, right? So in regards to your original question on pen testing alone, no, it wouldn't make a difference to me, right? I do think that there is a lot of awesome traits that military folks come out of the military with that do make them very, very, very appealing from a hiring perspective, right? And so I do think that having a military background helps generally from a hiring perspective, not specific to pen testing. I also want to emphasize, right? I don't care what your discipline is in the military, you have something to contribute to the private sector. What is hard in that Rubik's Cube of coming out of the military is figuring out how we convert, right, that military awesomeness that you've got into normal people speak, right? Because you oftentimes think that, oh, well, I did X, Y, and Z in the military. Clearly, they know what that is on the outside, and that is not the case whatsoever, right? And so that's the hardest part that I think really comes from military transitioning. Bowen Yo says, how do I identify the things that I require to learn? Because at times I feel like I'm all over the place in terms of learning. You probably are all over the place, right? Right? You see this massive amount of stuff that you can learn in cybersecurity, and you are definitely all over the place because you see all the things and you want to learn all the things. Back to those personality types that I talk about, right? And so you really have to be disciplined in terms of how you focus your learning efforts onto the parts that interest you, that intrigue you, that help you fill knowledge gaps, that move you towards your goal of what you want to be in, right? And when I say, like, most of you will say, well, I want to be a pen tester, right? And you're like, so I'm going to go study all the pen testing stuff. But that's thinking that your path to a pen tester is go do stuff, get pen tester job. And I've said it before, very, very infrequently do you go do pen testing learning, get pen tester job. It does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's very, very, very infrequent. And so you may need to go learn something that helps you get a GRC role, or helps you get a SOC analyst role, or helps you get some other role, and then eventually make your way over to a pen tester. You have to think about, and I go back to our hacking analogy, right? You don't always, if you start a pen test from the outside of the network, you don't always go directly for the domain controller on the very first thing that you do, right? That's not what literally 99% of the pen testers or even 99% of the hackers do out there, right? They know that the domain controller is an objective, but they don't throw an exploit hoping to get the domain controller on the first exploit they throw, do they, right? Sometimes you have to pop an account through social media, then you've got to elevate privileges, then you've got to find the domain controller, then you've got to get the domain controller, then you got to dump the passwords, and then Bob's your uncle, right? You have to think the same way about your career path. When I got out of the Air Force in 2013, I said I want to be a CISO. Do you think that the first application that I put in when I got out of the Air Force was for a CISO role? No, it was not. Right? I knew that I had to have a path to get to CISO. And so you have to create your path, and it may involve doing jobs that you don't want to do. Listen, I took the job at PwC knowing that I was going to have to do sales because PwC doesn't have a sales team and everybody there does selling. And I knew that it was going to take me out of my comfort zone to do it. But I also knew that I needed the business experience to be a good CISO. And so you have to build a path, and sometimes that path requires you to take steps that you may not necessarily see as direct correlation to your end goal. Okay? So keep that in mind as you're going through it. I'm seeing some people say the bot is broken. Hopefully the bot's not broken. I was going to do a giveaway this morning. I see Chris there. Chris can go kick the bot in the shins. Farron, your question keeps getting deleted because you keep asking it more than once. I've got your question in queue. I see your question in queue. Please don't ask your question more than once. I promise you will see it. I promise you will see it. Trying to get to all the questions across the board, and then stalling while my team tries to figure out how to fix the bot so that we can do some giveaways this morning. Let's head over to LinkedIn. There's lots of good questions on LinkedIn today, man. I've got a good page full of questions on YouTube and got a good page full of questions over here on LinkedIn. What do you think about IoT security? Any good preventative measure or framework? I think IoT security is incredibly important and incredibly overlooked. NIST just recently, or was it CISA? I think it was CISA that just recently released some new guidelines on pen testing IoT environments. NIST has got some good documentation on IoT stuff. And then obviously go follow my friend Rob Lee over at Dragos for all things IoT because he is awesome and Dragos is awesome. Ricardo, hello Neil, first-time viewer here. Thank you so very much. Love all my first-time viewers. I'm at 4 years experience as blue teamer, loving it. Yes. What is a top-tier job position to aim at in the next 5 years, and what are the common salary expectations? If you're 4 years in on the blue teamer side, at 5 years in, you'll be at 9 years if my math is correct. Somebody keep me honest on that math. Not sure if that math is right or not. If you're on the blue team side, you should probably be at SOC director, IR director, probably IR director more so than SOC director, but I would expect you to be a director level position. And if you're North America, city agnostic, I'm not going to try to split hairs on California versus New York versus Florida versus BF Montana. But I'd say if you're a director at a respectable company, leading IR or leading security operations, you're probably 175-ish, give or take, adjusted for cost of living.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
No, I can't try again because I wasn't talking to you. What? Get off my stream. You get enough press, Siri. You get enough press with everything else that you've got going on. You do not need to be on my stream. Gent John says, if you were to start today with little to no experience based on all the free resources out there, who would be your focus first besides connecting on Discord, LinkedIn? It'd be me. Be me. Start with me. After that, go see my friend Jerry over on Simply Cyber. Start there, right? Then I would say branch out from there, right? Start broad, right? Find out where your passion is, and then go from there. Go from there. Let's see what else. Is the bot still not working, Chris? Did you break it? I thought you were like a greatest developer in the world. Rob Lee is a system of systems wizard. Yeah, he really is. Rob Lee's amazing. Rob Lee's really awesome. All right, let's head over to YouTube. Let's see what kind of questions we got on YouTube. Farron's question was, how much is cybersec demand and skills gap? Is it really that bad? If it's that bad, then why companies are failing to hire enough talent? What's the barrier? Because they still look at past experience. Let's take that question in chunks, Farron, right? How much is the cybersecurity demand and skills gap? Is it really that bad? Yes, it is. Right? Yes, it is. Just don't. So there's a couple of different echo chambers that exist out there, right? There are the echo chambers of the people who are like, cybersecurity skills gap, cybersecurity talent, right? Organizations are failing to hire. And then there's people who are like, that's a myth, right? There's always going to be people who are like, oh, that's a myth, right? That's a myth. I got a job. It's been easy to get a job. It's so easy to get jobs. I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's so easy to find people and get jobs and blah, 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 blah. I do think the cybersecurity skills gap is still a problem. And I do think that is a failure across the board. Let me say that again, right? I think that it is a failure on the hiring side, and it is a failure on the candidate side, right? I think hiring managers, and again, when we think about the hiring process, right? Typically, a hiring manager, and I'm going to speak for big companies, not like a small company, not like a company with like less than 1,000 employees, right? I'm talking like, a company's got 150,000, company's got 100,000, company's got 75,000, 50,000 employees, right? Typically, a hiring manager, a SOC director, a SOC manager, IR manager will come to HR and say, I need to open up a job rec. And they're going to look at their fancy-dancy spreadsheet, and they're going to be like, well, what's the job grade? Oh, it's a grade 18. Okay, well, based on my fancy-dancy spreadsheet, a grade 18 means they have to have this, 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 they have to have this. What else would you like to add to it? And they're like, well, when you got a lot of that stuff, I'd really like for them to have some cert. And the HR person goes, okay, well, what kind of cert? And the hiring manager's like, well, gosh, when I was coming up in the pen testing space, GXPN and OSCP were the only two that I respected. It's got to be either a SANS cert or OSCP. Cool. HR person doesn't know any better, writes OSCP, writes GXPN on there, says, is there anything else that you want? And they're like, no, that's fine. Go ahead and put the job posting up. And that's the failure of the hiring manager, because the hiring manager didn't look at that and say, well, actually, I know that your little fancy dancy spreadsheet says that a grade 18 requires 5 years of experience, but I could actually really do with somebody who's got 1 to 2 years of experience. Because what happens then is the recruiter then goes, well, that's not really a grade 18. That's actually a grade, that's actually like a grade 12. And you're like, but that's a $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 pay difference. I'm not going to get the kind of talent that I want at that price point. And they're like, sorry, that's the policy. If you want somebody with 1 to 2 years of experience, they've got to be at this level. So hiring managers know what they need, but they're stuck in a loop. They're stuck in a loop, right? Where they've got to fight the internal politics of HR to figure out how they know they've got to pay a premium for cybersecurity talent, but the traditional architectural ways in which HR is doing things is wrong. So that's kind of point number one. Point number two is then if you get the hiring manager who's like, yeah, that's fine, whatever, put it up on the job posting, I don't care. They put it up on the job posting, it gets to a recruiter, whether it's an internal recruiter or an external recruiter, who looks at the job posting, and I've had this conversation with numerous recruiters on the outside, right? Who looks at it and says, oh, they want GXPN or OSCP. They know. They see a bajillionty resumes, and that's actually a technical mathematical term, is a bajillionty, right? Just so you, I don't know if you know that or not, that is a real mathematical term. They see a bajillionty resumes, and they know that there are other certs out there other than OSCP and GXPN for pen testing roles. What do? They go, cool, let me get this out there, let me see what I can find for you. And they go out there and they find that for you. Instead, they have the ability, I've talked to recruiters, I've confirmed this with recruiters, they have the ability to look at that job posting and say, hey, look, you know there's eJPT, ECPPT, TCM, right? You know there's all this other stuff that's out there, right? And they have that ability to work with them and say, we should add all these other certs, but they don't do it. They don't do it. It's not in their process flow about how they handle the certification process, or how they handle the job qualification process. And so there's a failure there. And then we have a failure on the candidate side. Candidates are not doing what they need to do to differentiate themselves. They're not working the system, right? In all the ways that I talked about before. And so I think we've got problems. We've got problems from end to end in the hiring process, right? And so, yes, it's that bad. That's why companies are still finding it hard to find talent. The barrier is poor processes and a poor way to look for talent. So I'm getting feedback from the team that the bot is utterly trashed. That is unfortunate to hear from my mod team. Beardsec may be in a meeting. I know that he got the Discord bot set up. Here's what we'll do. If the bot, rip bot, 100%, rip to the bot. Unfortunately, we'll give a ceremony to the bot, and we'll see what's happening with the bot. We will do a big giveaway as soon as our team troubleshoots the bot. As soon as our team troubleshoots the bot. May not be today, but we will figure out a giveaway to do. Adrian, saw earlier that you were from Romania. Carmen is from Romania. If she were here, she'd have something to say to you. My Romanian is pretty limited, so I would just say mulțumesc. The AI is made, created, implemented by people, and so everything man-made can be hacked. Isn't that true? I wouldn't look at it necessarily so binary, but I would definitively say that, yes, if it is man-made, there is a high likelihood that it can be hacked. Yes, Josh, if we can get Beardsec to commit that the bot is working, we will do a Discord giveaway later. All the more reason to be in Discord if you need to. Obviously, we will do a Discord giveaway later potentially if we can get the Discord bot working. So make sure you are in Discord. Josh, can you do me a favor? Can you post the Discord link on LinkedIn? I'm not sure if anybody has posted on LinkedIn yet or not. Sensitus, the different grades were just random things I made up. I took that from an old company I worked at. It didn't mean anything significant. I was just using an example from like from another one. Josh says, what conferences are you going to, and can we set up a cybersecurity get together at any of them? To be determined. To be determined. I need to check one thing. I might be at Gartner. So I will say this. I might be at Gartner in June. So that'll be in DC. So if anybody is listening and is in the DC area, and hey, there's a poll. Hey, there's a Streamlabs. Streamlabs woke up. Did Streamlabs wake up? I will be in DC in June. So if anybody's listening and they are in the DC area, make sure you stay tuned for what the dates I'm going to be in DC. My pledge to everybody, and I say this all the time, right, is if you catch me in a city where you're at and we can arrange a face-to-face meet, schedule's pending, dinner or drinks is on me. We will do a face-to-face, right? Not afraid to meet folks in face-to-face if you catch me in a city near you. Josh coming through with the clutch question. Did you get some golf time scheduled for the mental break work-life balance? Keeping me honest there. I appreciate you, Josh. Keeping me honest for the work-life balance. I still do not have my golf game scheduled, unfortunately. I need to get that scheduled in. I need to see if I can like hit those 300-yard drives now that I've been putting in the work. Is that signs of life from Streamlabs? Is that what I'm seeing? Tanmoy on LinkedIn says, "Sir, can you review my LinkedIn profile, please? I just watched Hack Your LinkedIn and rebuilt it." I don't do private LinkedIn reviews anymore. There's enough content that I've got out there right now. I may do a public LinkedIn review. We used to do LinkedIn roast. We may do another one of those LinkedIn roast at some point in time. We shall see. Wow, thank you for that. The voice of my mod just appeared in my head. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's pick one. Let's pick one to close out on. We've been crushing it through today pretty good. Oh, this is a good one. I love this one. Cyberilla. Love this question. We may do more. I don't know. Roast me, John. John says roast me. John, you are an incredibly brilliant individual for somebody who has the worst attention span and the worst hygiene of any human being I've seen in my entire life. There you go. That one's free, John. I won't charge you for that one. Did you do any communication training to get into management CISO role? Do you have advice on management communication training? My goal is CISO as well, but I'm very introverted. Fantastic. Fantastic question. I did not take any communication training. I don't know. Maybe that's not fair. I was so teaching has been part of my ecosystem. My dad was a high school teacher, then he was a professor at uni. I taught combat school in one of the assignments that I had in the military in the early days of my career. And so I got used to standing up in front of people and teaching at a very, very early part of my career. I've obviously taught for the Air Force. I've taught for SANS. I do content. And so I've got a long history of standing in front of people and talking to people. And so what I would say is that a lot of my communication training, if you will, has been trial by fire in terms of being in front of people, right? I can distinctly remember the first time I ever taught a class. And it wasn't a cyber class. I was so the military, at least the Air Force. I don't know if the Army and the Marines do this. or the Navy. I always forget about the Navy guys. But the Air Force has a tendency where you go do a job for so many months, so many years, typically years, and then they force you to teach people how to do it, right? It's a cyclical thing. You've done job for 3 years, now go back and teach it. You've done job for 3 years, now go back and teach it for a year, right? That's very much part of the process in the Air Force, right? And so I had been doing deployed communication for the first probably 2 to 3 years of my career, where I was deployed to environments, set up tons of communication stuff, worked with a lot of special operations units, military intelligence battalions, things like that. And then I went to go to a combat communication squadron where I taught operators how to go do deployed communication in a combat zone, right? Because this is in the midst of the Iraq War, right? And so the first class that I taught, right? We talk about teach ditch digging for a year. I actually was teaching building DFPs, defensive fortified positions, right, in a deployed environment. And I'd never taught before in my life, right? I'd never taught before in my life, and I was standing up in front of colonels, airmen, NCOs, right? It didn't matter, right? And it was an hour-long class. It was an hour-long class that I taught in 35 minutes. That's how nervous I was in teaching that class. Was I got up there and those slides came up on the screen and I legitimately turned to those slides and I read those slides and I got through that class in 35 minutes. That was my very first teaching experience. And I walked out of that classroom. I knew it sucked. My boss knew it sucked. Everybody could tell that I was ridiculously nervous about it, right? And I was so embarrassed. But they kept throwing me in the fire. And I kept trying to do better. And then before long, I was briefing colonels, right? And then I was briefing generals, right? I remember the first time that I briefed a general. So for those who aren't familiar with like U.S. military structures, right? A general, they're the ones with the stars on their shoulder. They're kind of like, when you get to that level, you're almost untouchable, right? In most military senses, right? And I remember the first time that I briefed a 2-star general, I wasn't nervous at all. I stood up there and I crushed it, and that was a cyber briefing. That was a cyber briefing that I'd given them on a offensive cyber operation that I was working with the op plan on, and I wasn't nervous at all. And so really, it just took somebody continuing to forcibly give me opportunities, right, with the feedback and things like that, right, from everybody. And before long, it just started to come naturally. And when we talk about it, and I want to say all this, to say I too am an introvert. I know it's hard to believe that I'm sitting here talking to hundreds of you, on a weekly basis, but I too am an introvert. I'm so going to embarrass myself right now. I'm so going to embarrass myself. So Carmen and I just went on vacation, right? And for those who saw my Instagram, we were at the beach. And we were, at this event called Jeep Beach. We are so introverted, Carmen and I are both so introverted, that we literally were trying to make a plan. Hear me out on this one. We were trying to make a plan for how to make friends at this event. And we were like, okay. We looked at our hotel room. We saw a bunch of Jeepers out on the beach, and we saw a spot where we could put the Jeep. And we're like, cool, we're going to go down there. We're going to park the Jeep in that spot, and we're instantly going to be able to talk to people on either side of us. And we're going to make friends because we all got Jeeps, and we all got something in common. And this will be fun, and this will be fantastic. We totally got this. We drive the Jeep out there. We get the Jeep parked down there. We plop the tent out. We plop the chairs out. We plop the cooler out. We sit down there, and we're looking at each other like, all right, who's going to go talk to the neighbors? We can't talk to normal people to save our life, right? Neither of us can. But I can get here, I can turn on this camera, and I can talk to you all, and I can share content, and I can go give a presentation to the board of directors. I can go talk to a 2-star general. I can go talk to anybody about anything cybersecurity. But you want me out in public talking to normal people and making normal people friends? Not this guy. Not in this house. So I very much, empathize with your introverted, characteristics, because I too share them. It just took me getting into a comfort zone about being able to turn on that cybersecurity discussion point and being like, let's go, let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about it. So that was awesome. A little bit of insight and information. I apologize, everybody. My mods are telling me the bot is utterly broken. Everybody pour out a little bit. Say rip to the bot. Our team will work on the bot. I promise you that we will do some giveaways, so make sure you are in Discord. They'll either be Discord giveaways, or we will fix the bot and we will give some stuff away on the next stream. Listen, I truly appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out. I'm glad nobody brought up the recent price changes to I&E. Pausing for effect. Pausing for effect. Pausing for effect. With that being said, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Make sure you tune into the channel. Make sure you do check out, the streams that we do have going on for the week. Remember, I love you guys. You guys are all awesome. Whether you're on the red side, whether you're on the blue side, whether you're still deciding, keep learning, and I'll see y'all next time.